The beast incarnate fell. Let me say that again, because I need you to understand the magnitude of what just happened on Raw. Brock Lesnar, the most dominant force in WWE history, the man who has destroyed everyone put in front of him, the conqueror who makes grown men tremble, fell during his entrance. Not in a match. Not from a devastating finishing move. Not from some elaborate stunt gone wrong. During his entrance. Walking to the ring. The most basic thing a professional wrestler does every single night. And the entire wrestling world just stopped. Because this isn't supposed to happen to Brock Lesnar. This isn't supposed to happen to the man who suplexed John Cena 16 times. This isn't supposed to happen to the beast who ended The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. This isn't supposed to happen to someone who has built his entire mystique on being an unstoppable force of nature. But it did happen. In front of thousands of fans in the arena. In front of millions watching around the world. In the age of social media where every moment is captured, replayed, analyzed, and mimed into oblivion, what you're about to witness isn't just the breakdown of a botched entrance. This is the story of how one moment, one split-second loss of balance threatened to shatter the carefully constructed aura of invincibility that has made Brock Lesnar the most feared competitor in professional wrestling. This is about vulnerability. This is about the human element breaking through the larger-than-life character. This is about what happens when the impossible becomes reality and everyone watching has to reconcile what they just saw with what they believed. Because we've watched Brock Lesnar do impossible things for over 2 decades. We've seen him defy gravity with his athleticism despite being nearly 300 pounds of pure muscle. We've seen him absorb punishment that would end most careers and come back stronger. But we've never seen him look vulnerable like this. We've never seen him look human. We've never seen the carefully constructed facade crack in such a public and undeniable way. Let's set the scene, because the context of this moment makes it even more shocking. Raw opened with the announcement that Brock Lesnar would be appearing live. The crowd was electric with anticipation, because when Brock shows up, something is going to happen. Someone is going to get destroyed. The landscape of WWE is going to shift. Brock doesn't do subtle. Brock doesn't do meaningless appearances. When he shows up, it matters. It means championships are about to change hands. It means careers are about to be ended. It means the status quo is about to be obliterated. The arena was buzzing. Social media was blowing up with speculation about what Brock was going to do. Who was he targeting? What championship was he after? Was someone about to get F5D into oblivion? And then his music hit. That thunderous entrance theme that has become synonymous with destruction. The crowd erupted, that mixture of excitement and terror that only Brock Lesnar can generate. Because you're thrilled to see him, but you're also low-key scared about what's about to happen. Paul Heyman emerged first, as always. The advocate. The spokesman. The hype man for the most dangerous athlete in WWE history. Heyman was doing his usual routine, arms spread wide, that smirk on his face that says, "You're all about to witness greatness." And then Brock appeared. The beast incarnate himself. That focused intensity. Those cold, calculating eyes that have stared down legends and made them blink. That powerful physique that looks like it was carved from granite. Everything was going exactly as it should. This was the Brock Lesnar entrance we've seen hundreds of times. The march to the ring. The purposeful stride of a man who knows he's the baddest person in the building and doesn't need to prove it to anyone. But then, as Brock was descending the ramp, as he was doing the simplest part of his entrance routine, something went wrong. Question right here: have you ever seen a moment that completely shattered a wrestler's aura in an instant? Drop your examples below. It happened so fast that if you blinked, you might have missed it. But the cameras caught everything. And in the age of instant replay and social media, nothing stays hidden. Brock's foot caught on something. Maybe it was the ramp itself. Maybe it was his own boot. Maybe it was just a random moment of imbalance that could happen to anyone. But it happened to Brock Lesnar. And that makes it everything. He stumbled. Hard. His body lurched forward with the momentum of a 290-pound man suddenly losing his balance. His arms windmilled trying to catch himself. And for a split second, a horrifying split second, it looked like the beast incarnate was going to go down face first on the entrance ramp in front of the entire world. The crowd gasped. You could hear it. That collective intake of breath from thousands of people simultaneously realizing they might be witnessing something unprecedented. Because this doesn't happen to Brock Lesnar. This doesn't happen to the man who has dominated UFC and WWE. This doesn't happen to someone who has spent decades perfecting an image of absolute invincibility. Brock managed to catch himself. Barely. He went down to one knee, his hand hitting the ramp to prevent a complete fall. For a moment, a frozen moment, he was on the ground. Vulnerable. Human. The arena fell into shocked silence. Paul Heyman's expression changed from confident smirk to genuine concern in a nanosecond. The camera operators didn't know whether to cut away or keep filming. The production truck was probably screaming about what to do with this footage. And Brock? Brock's face showed something we never see: embarrassment. Frustration. Anger at himself for this moment of weakness being captured for the world to see. He got back to his feet quickly because he's a professional, because he's Brock Lesnar, because showing weakness for more than a second is unacceptable. But the damage was done. The moment was captured. The illusion was cracked. Let me tell you why this moment is so significant from a wrestling psychology perspective. Professional wrestling is built on kayfabe, on the willing suspension of disbelief, on the audience believing that what they're watching is real even though they know intellectually that it's predetermined entertainment. And a huge part of maintaining that illusion is protecting your character. Never breaking. Never showing weakness unless it's part of the story being told. Never, ever doing something that makes the audience question the carefully constructed persona you've spent years building. Brock Lesnar's entire character is built on being superhuman, on being the genetic freak who can do things that normal humans can't, on being so dominant that putting him in a wrestling ring is almost unfair to his opponents. That mystique is everything. It's what makes Brock special. It's what allows WWE to bring him back whenever they need to create instant credibility for a storyline or championship. It's what makes even the toughest competitors look scared when Brock's music hits. But that mystique requires careful maintenance. It requires Brock to look dominant every single time he appears. It requires protecting him from moments that make him look weak or human or vulnerable. A botched entrance tripping on the ramp and going down to one knee in front of thousands of fans shatters that carefully maintained image. It shows that Brock is human, that he's subject to the same random moments of physical failure that affect everyone, that the beast can stumble just like anyone else. And once that illusion is cracked, it's incredibly difficult to fully restore. The immediate aftermath was fascinating to watch. Brock got to his feet and continued to the ring, but something had changed. The swagger was gone. The intimidating stride was replaced with a more cautious walk. He looked angry, not the controlled, focused anger that's part of his character, but genuine frustration at what just happened. Paul Heyman tried to recover, doing what he does best, talking, trying to redirect attention, trying to make people forget what they just witnessed by launching into one of his legendary promos. But you could see it in Heyman's eyes. The concern, the knowledge that they needed to do damage control immediately, that this moment couldn't be allowed to define Brock's appearance. When Brock finally got in the ring, he was pissed. And here's where it gets interesting from a performance perspective. Brock used the genuine frustration to fuel his character. He channeled the embarrassment and anger into his promo work, making him seem even more dangerous because he was legitimately upset. He grabbed a microphone, which is already rare because Brock usually lets Heyman do all the talking, and you could hear the edge in his voice, the real emotion breaking through. You think that's funny? He growled at the crowd, some of whom had started to murmur and laugh nervously. You think watching Brock Lesnar is entertainment for you? The crowd went silent again. Because even diminished, even after stumbling on the ramp, Brock Lesnar is still a legitimate badass who could destroy anyone in that arena. I don't care what you think. I don't care about your expectations. I'm here to do one thing, dominate. And if anyone wants to make jokes about what just happened, I'll F5 them straight to hell. It was brilliant recovery work, honestly. Turn a moment of genuine embarrassment into heat. Make the audience afraid to laugh because the beast might come after them. Use real emotion to enhance the character rather than letting it destroy the mystique. Real talk question, did Brock's recovery save his aura, or is this moment going to follow him forever? Give your honest take in the comments. But let's talk about what happened after the show, because that's where this story gets even more interesting. Social media exploded. And I mean exploded. Within minutes, clips of Brock's stumble were everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, every wrestling forum and community discussing what just happened. And the reactions were divided in the most fascinating way. Camp 1, this ruins Brock's mystique forever. These fans argued that Brock's entire value to WWE is based on seeming invincible. That watching him trip and nearly fall on a simple walk to the ring makes him look weak. That you can't unsee this moment, and every future Brock appearance will be tainted by the memory of watching him stumble like a rookie on their first day. They pointed out that other legends have had their auras damaged by similar moments. When warriors look human, when the invincible seem vulnerable, the magic is lost. How am I supposed to believe Brock can suplex someone through the ring when he can't even walk down a ramp without falling? They asked. And it's a valid question from a kayfabe perspective. Camp 2, this makes Brock even more dangerous. These fans argued the opposite. They said that seeing Brock genuinely embarrassed and angry makes him more compelling as a character. That perfection is boring, but watching someone human trying to maintain an image of invincibility? That's interesting. They argued that the best part of the segment was watching Brock turn the genuine frustration into character work, that the edge in his voice felt real because it was real, that sometimes the most compelling moments in wrestling come from accidents that force performers to improvise. Brock looked more legitimately dangerous in that promo than he has in years, they argued, because you could tell he was actually pissed, and that made him believable. Both perspectives have merit. Both represent valid ways of understanding what makes professional wrestling work. Let's talk about the memes, because oh my god, the memes. Within hours, the internet had turned Brock's stumble into a viral phenomenon. Photoshops of Brock tripping over various objects, video compilations set to comedic music, comparison videos to other athletes and celebrities who've had embarrassing falls. The wrestling community being the merciless savages they are created thousands of jokes at Brock's expense. Beast Incarnate vs. The entrance ramp became a trending topic. Fake match cards with Brock Lesnar vs. Gravity showed up everywhere. And here's the cruel irony, the more people tried to meme and joke about it, the more the video circulated. The more people saw it, the more the moment became defining rather than being forgotten. WWE tried to minimize the damage. They edited the clip out of some of their official replays. They focused their social media content on other moments from the show. They tried to do what wrestling companies have always done when something goes wrong, pretend it didn't happen and hope everyone forgets. But in 2025, in the age of infinite content and instant replay, you can't memory hole anything. Once it's out there forever. Brock Lesnar tripping on the entrance ramp is now part of his permanent record. It will show up in video packages. It will be referenced in future promos if WWE decides to lean into it rather than away from it. It will be mentioned in every most embarrassing wrestling moments compilation for years to come. Question: should WWE lean into this moment and make it part of storylines, or pretend it never happened? Strategic take, please comment below. Let's examine this from WWE's creative perspective, because they now have a choice to make. Option 1: ignore it completely. Act like it never happened. Never reference it in storylines. Never acknowledge that Brock stumbled.